Hi, hello, welcome back. How are you all? Hope you're all good. I wish everyone a very happy new year. So, we are moving on to our next chapter sound. In this chapter, we are discussing some of the key concepts such as the sources of sound, propagation of sound, sound as longitudinal wave, terms related to a wave, characteristics of the sound, speed of sound, audible and inaudible sound, reflection of sound, echo, absorption of sound, etc. So, let us take a look at what is sound. We hear different types of sound every day, isn't it? And we are very familiar with the sound of our school bell, sound of our alarm clock, our doorbell, then the honking of the vehicles, then buzzing of the mosquitoes. And we are very familiar with our friends, sounds of different friends. We are able to distinguish different ones, isn't it? So, we can say that sound is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hearing in our ears. Okay? Sound is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hearing in our ears. Sources of sound. The source of every sound is some vibrating objects. Okay? So we can also tell like this, vibrating objects produce sound. Okay? Sound is produced so long as the sound source is vibrating. Whenever the vibrating stops, it stops producing sound also. Okay, so the sound is produced so long as the sound source is vibrating. Okay, next one is about tuning fork. A tuning fork is a useful device to show how a vibrating object can produce sound. Okay, it is actually in order to show that how the vibrating objects produce sound. Okay, it is a metallic device. Okay, and it consists of a handle called as the stem and two tines called the prongs. The two prongs are joined with the stem forming the U shape. When the prongs are hit with a rubber hammer, they begin to vibrate. The back and forth vibrations of the prong produce the sound of single frequency. Okay, so this is about tuning fork. And next one is about musical instrument. Different types of vibrations produce different sound. Musical instruments use vibrations of various types to produce sound. There are four common kinds of musical instruments. They are string instruments, percussion instruments, wind instruments, and reed instruments. Okay, so we all know that there are different instruments which produce different sound. Okay, so there are of four types. Okay, the musical instruments are of four common types. They are string instruments, percussion instruments, wind instruments, and the reed instruments. Let us take a look at all these instruments. Okay, first one is the string instruments. Strings of specific metal and thickness are made to vibrate in them so as to produce sound. See, while saying about the string instrument, we the picture or the image that come to our mind is about the guitar, the violin, sitar, veena, sarangi, etc. Isn't it? So these are the examples of string instruments. So the strings of specific metals and thickness are made to vibrate in them so as to produce the sound. Okay. Next one is the important points that you have to study about the string instruments. Okay. That is the frequency of sound produced by a string instrument depends upon the length, material, thickness and tightness of the string. Okay. That is the frequency depends on length of the string, material of the string, thickness of the string and tightness of the string. Loudness of the sound depends upon the amplitude of vibration of the string. Amplitude is nothing but it is the maximum length from the mean position of a wave. Okay, so loudness of sound depends upon the amplitude of vibration of the string. A guitar, a violin, sitar, veena, sarangi, etc. are examples of the string instruments. So these are the picture of the string instruments. Next one is about percussion instrument. A bass drum, a dholak, a tabla, a bongo, etc. are examples of the percussion instruments. When the stretched membrane of these instruments is beaten with a stick or with a hammer or with the hands, it starts vibrating. As a result, the air molecules present inside the hollow instrument also vibrate and the sound is produced. Okay, so in the percussion instruments, how the sound is produced is like this. The air molecules present inside the hollow instrument will starts vibrating when we are beating the membrane with a hammer or a stick. Okay, so the membrane starts vibrating and so the sound is produced. The bass drum, dholak, tabla and bongo are examples of the percussion instruments. Okay, so these are the common percussion instruments. And next one is an activity in order to show that to produce sound by vibrating membrane of a drum. So the materials required are a drum, a hammer and ping pong balls. Okay, we are placing the ping pong balls on the membrane of the drum and we are beating the drum in various force. Okay, when we are beating the drum with a soft hammer, the ping pong balls will start jumping. It is due to the vibration of the air molecules inside the hollow instruments. Okay, so that produce a feeble sound. When we increase our force and we are forcefully beating the membrane, the ping pong balls will start jumping more forcefully. This shows that the vibration inside the hollow instrument will be more stronger. Okay, and the loudness will also be greater. Okay. The above activity clearly demonstrates that in a musical drum, sound is produced whenever its membrane is set in vibrating motion. So, we know that the vibrating objects produce sound. The frequency of the sound produced depends on the dimension of the percussion instruments and the tension in membrane. Tension means nothing but it is the stretchness of the membrane. Okay, so the frequency of the sound produced depends on the dimension of the percussion instruments and the tension in membrane. Loudness of the sound produced can be increased by striking harder on the membrane. Okay. And next type of instruments are the wind instrument. A trumpet, a shahnaai, a flute, a bugle, a clarinet, etc. are examples of the wind instruments. These instruments are in the form of pipes. When we blow air into them from our mouth, the air column inside vibrates and the sound is produced. The frequency of the sound produced depends on the length of the pipe. Okay? The loudness of the sound can be increased by blowing air strongly. So in wind instruments, the air inside, when we are blowing air from our mouth into the instrument, the air inside the instrument starts vibrating and produce sound. Okay, so all the wind instruments are in the form of pipes and the frequency of the sound produced depends on the length of the pipe. Okay, loudness of the sound can be increased by blowing air strongly. So these are the examples of wind instruments, that is the trumpet, shahnaai, flute, bugle. Okay, and the last type of instruments are the reed instrument. A harmonium, a piano, a mouth organ, etc. are the examples of reed instruments. They have metal reeds or the keys. When air is blown through these metal reeds, sound is produced. Different keys are provided to produce sounds of different frequencies. Okay, see here they have given the picture of harmonium, piano and the mouth organ. In this type of instruments, the metal reeds or the keys are provided, and when the air is blown through these metal reeds or the keys, the sound is produced. Okay, so different keys are provided to produce different sound of different frequencies. Okay, so children, everyone please go through the textbook, read nicely, understand all the concept and study nicely. Keep safe in your home. Keep watching. Thank you.